Welcome, everybody, to Slack on Flicks, the podcast. I'm your host, film critic, and 16 News Now producer, Benjamin Slack. Thank you guys so much for watching. It happened. Wicked for Good is officially out in your local theaters right here, right now. And in just 3 days, it is already breaking box office records. Let's take a look. If we take a look at this full screen right here, it earned $150 million here in the US and $226 million worldwide in its first 3 days at the show. That's the highest grossing movie based on a Broadway play and the second highest opening weekend of 2025, second behind the Minecraft movie, of course. Now, in celebration of this big movie that came out a few days ago, one that a bunch of people over in the newsroom, and a whole lot more worldwide have been looking forward to, I thought we'd take a look back at the history and most important films based on the classic series by L. Frank Baum. So grab your broomsticks, let's get into our bubble, head over the rainbow and down the yellow brick road as we take a trip down Oz memory lane.
Toto? I've a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
While many movies based on the first Oz book were made, the classic film from 1939 starring Judy Garland, Ray Bolger, Jack Haley, Burt Lahr, Margaret Hamilton, Frank Morgan, and Billy Burke is the one that stands the test of time. The Wizard of Oz is a film that truly embodies the definition of timeless. Many people are actually shocked to learn that this film is from the 30s and one of the first ever colored films. We all know the story. A young farm girl and her dog are transported to a magical land following a twister. In order to get home, she travels down the yellow brick road to meet the wonderful wizard, and along the way makes friends with a scarecrow, Tin Man, Cowardly Lion, a good witch, and an enemy out of the Wicked Witch of the West. Nothing new to say, because I agree and solidify everything great about this film. It's one of my personal favorites and rightfully considered one of the best films of all time. It's arguably the best. It has an intriguing premise, a story that fits well for all ages, stakes that feel intense, and a wonderful message of showcasing that sometimes where you come from, while not perfect, it's the place that you're meant to be. The characters are likable from the start, the music is beautiful, and everything just gets better upon every rewatch. A perfect Slacker scale A+.
It's just a yellow brick.
No, Belina, you don't understand. This was the Yellow Brick Road.
Return to Oz, released in 1985, is based off of the second and third books of the Baum series, and follows Dorothy as she returns to her magical land, only to find it in ruins. She also discovers her friends are both hostage and victims of the decay. Forming a group of new friends, she goes on another journey to come face to face with Oz's tormentor. While the original film had its moments that frightened kids, Return to Oz is what I would call a trip into a nightmare created by Freddy Krueger that almost qualifies as a horror film. The acting is fine, designs of the characters and sets are passable. The layout is a bit too different though, and it practically fails to attract any anticipation of what's to come within the first few minutes. However, its final product is something that's commendable, and I do recommend it for anyone who would like to see what happened after the final shot of the original film. While not official, it does feel like a genuine continuation, one that gets a C on the Slacker scale.
Great wizard from Kansas, I've waited for you to come and set things right.
Me?
Oz the Great and Powerful from 2013 is a film that many Oz fans like to forget about, but I really don't understand why. We follow a failed magician who lands in Oz after a frightening twister, only to be welcomed as the man the citizens have dreamed of. Dubbed their wonderful wizard, he joins forces with Glinda the Good Witch to battle and thwart the rising power of the two wicked witches of the West and East. While the film follows the same trend that many films at the time were doing by making a bit of a Narnia ripoff, it nevertheless feels the most connected to 1939 and felt like a story that we actually needed to be told about. There's nothing much to say other than the fact that it is entertaining for anyone who loves Oz source material. It's fun to catch the many Easter eggs scattered throughout, and the cast does a commendable job by bringing the characters to life and giving their own unique spins that are welcoming additions. While the CG is rough, it at least looks like some effort was put into it, and like Return to Oz beforehand, at least the filmmakers tried. For me, it worked, and it earned a solid B on the Slacker scale.
Come with me.
What?
To meet the wizard.
I couldn't possibly. This is your moment. I'm coming.
I am Oz the Great.
Long before Dorothy dropped in and before they were enemies on the different sides of Oz's land, the two popular witches were once Glinda and Elphaba while attending college. They form an unlikely yet beautiful friendship with each other. But as Oz begins to take certain precautions throughout the area that the two friends don't like, things are revealed, destinies are forged, and the next thing you know, they're morphing into the witches we know and love from the 1939 masterpiece. The first thing that must be brought to the forefront is the two lead actresses, which is the most important ingredient to any Wicked production. The movie adaptation finds its jackpot with both Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. Grande manages to channel the past of both Kristen Chenoweth and the spirit of Billy Burke while embracing her own talents to make Glinda more likable than ever before. Erivo begins to define the term showstopper from the moment she steps into frame and begins to sing The Wizard and I. In the course of its 2.5-hour runtime, it allows the filmmakers to present a movie that presents a story filled with the themes of friendship and acceptance and nails in on the emotional scenes that will leave you teary-eyed. It's the best since the original and probably the most entertaining films of 2024, with laughs and excellent dance numbers that will rock your playlist anytime. A Slacker Scale A. This brings us to today in 2025. Wicked for Good picks up 5 years after the events of Wicked. Elphaba and Glinda have made their decisions, and this really tears them apart both politically and in life. Elphaba is now the Wicked Witch of the West, while Glinda must convince everyone that she truly is the good. This affects their inner friendship circle and the Oz population around them. Plus, not to mention the biggest twist of them all, Dorothy has dropped in.
Because I knew you. You're the only friend I ever had. Because I knew you. And I've had so many friends. I have been changed for good. But only one that mattered.
Both the themes and acting are mixed this time around. Wicked explored the ideas of finding your identity and deciding who you're going to be. Wicked for Good deals with the consequences of those decisions. Coming off of the lighthearted 2024 film, audiences might be surprised by this darker and more mature entry. However, it reflects the realities that we all relate to in a fantastical way. As we grow, we no longer are the same kids in class who crack the jokes and win out simply for good times. We evolve into adults and deal every day with the decisions that we've made. Ariana Grande reflects this sentiment in her performance, which is both emotional and relatable, and arguably better than before. Cynthia Erivo once again gives a good performance, but unfortunately is caught in the middle of elements such as the plot and story structure that do not feel fully fleshed out. Wicked for Good is worth seeing for the anticipation alone, but the final result has elements that can be nitpicked. It, however, carries out its task, concluding a 2-act story about friendship and loved ones played by an assembled cast of actors who, all in all, I'd say the movie takes everything from the first film, such as character arcs and themes, and presents them in a way that feels unsurprising and natural, culminating in a film that's not as good as the first, but is still entertaining enough to earn the praise that it's been getting. It's a Slacker Scale B+. Now, articles have been popping up across various news sources, including NBC and The Hollywood Reporter, about possible sequel talks to these Wicked films. Now, before everybody goes screaming off their head saying, hey, Wicked is only a 2-act story, it's technically one story cut into 2 acts, so it fits perfect as only 2 films. You gotta remember, though, that there is a lot of Oz source material out there, and it's public domain. The Wizard of Oz is very unique because there is a collection of novels to craft stories out of. It has potential to be a big franchise like Harry Potter, but in order to start this, the first movie would have to be remade, and the original 1939 classic with Judy Garland is perhaps the one film that no one dares to remake. However, there's an opportunity because the events of The Wizard of Oz play out in the second act of Wicked. If these sequels are indeed in the works, the hard part is done, because the most difficult task was already presented in Wicked for Good. Speaking for myself as an Oz fan, I wouldn't mind seeing what came next after these Wicked films. I mean, it'd be at least be interested to see what different filmmakers can come up with. You never know. Only time will tell. Or maybe 3 clicks of our heels will tell. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on this Slack on Flicks episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this trip down Oz memory lane as much as I did filming it. Remember, you can read my full reviews by going to WNDU.com and clicking on the Entertainment tab. You can also find our previous podcast episodes on there, as well as on YouTube as well. Thank you guys so much, everyone. I will see you all next time, and remember, there's no place like home.